Wendy Vogel. Wendy is actually a doctor. She gets to play with all of the soft, fuzzy little friends that we have and take good care of them, as well as a writer. And Wendy, it's been at least a year since I've seen you.
Oh God, I think longer than that. I think it was before the Great Plague hit us all. I think those are the lost years. I don't even know what happened during this past couple of years.
Well, I remember that I had you on Tinfoil Hat with Heather when you did Firewalker.
That's been quite a long time ago. Yeah, that's been quite a long time ago. That's been, gosh, I think that was before any of the Horizon books came out. Yeah, that's been several years now. Time flies, doesn't it? It's amazing.
Well, I think I saw you last year at Gem City.
Yes, I was there at Gem City. It was small, but it was good to be back.
And we were trying to keep social distance, so it was kind of, I only had one good ear, so it was kind of hard to talk.
Right. Yeah. Well, and everybody in masks, and that doesn't make it any easier either. But we got through, and everybody stayed healthy. So yeah, it's been a strange time for cons. That's for sure. But feels like things are sort of getting back to a little bit more normal as far as the convention scene is concerned. So that's pretty nice to see.
And did you go to Gem City this year? I didn't make it out.
I did, yes. I did Gem City with a couple of friends this year. It still felt a little bit smaller than in the before days, but it's feeling more like its old self. So yeah, looking forward to Cincinnati Comic Expo coming up here in a couple of weeks, and we'll see how everybody does at that. But yeah, I was just at Gen Con last weekend, 2 weekends ago, and that felt pretty normal. I was at Origins a bit before that, and that was, again, not quite what it was before COVID, but so much better than last year. So it's just nice to see things looking up again and feeling a little more normal.
Well, it's just great to, I didn't make it out this year, but I've been doing a couple of the local cons, and it's great to see people. It really is.
Isn't it? It's nice to feel normal again. It's nice to talk about books again instead of about disease.
That's always true.
Yeah, nice to just kind of feel like our old selves again for at least a little while on convention days. That's pretty welcome.
I think that people want that normalcy too. They've stopped talking so much about gloom and doom.
Absolutely. People crave it, and the personal interaction that was just so lacking necessarily during that time. I mean, it's not like anyone had a choice to make. That's what we had to do. But not being able to talk to people one-on-one and not being able to see people. Zoom is great, and Zoom kept us going through that time. But there's just there's nothing like seeing people in person and talking to people in person. No substitute for that.
Well, even last year, it's like, I wanted to hug you. I wanted to hug my friends.
Yeah.
And
you go, maybe fist bump, maybe elbow bump. I don't know. Yeah, that's
I love you, but I don't trust your germs.
Right, exactly. Yes, you not your potential disease that you might be carrying and you don't even know it.
Yes. So how many books do you have under your belt now?
That's a great question. Let's see. There is Flamewalker was the original. Then there are 5 books in the Horizon Alpha series. 3 Horizon Alphas, Horizon Beta, and Horizon Delta. There is 1 book in the Super Dungeon series, which is based off a board game world. That is The Forgotten King. And then since then, I'm kind of like looking at myself here, looking at the shelf behind me. The most recent additions to the DW or Wendy Vogel book family are The Risen, which is undead heroes, undead sort of romance, sci-fi, kind of hard to describe that one particularly. And then my very newest release, which just came out on August 5th, which is Trouble the Water, which is under the Wendy Vogel name, and which is my first foray into horror suspense. So I don't know, I lost count. What was that? 7, 8, something like that? Busy. And then I also have a pen name, and there's a couple of books out under the pen name as well. So just depends what you're looking for.
We've got a couple people tuning in and saying hi, and I'm trying to comment back, and I can't. Hi everybody.
Oh, no.
Hi Brian, and The other one says Facebook user, so it's a mystery person.
Hello, Facebook user.
So the trouble with water is that one just came out, right?
Trouble the
Just a
Water
couple of days.
just came out. Yes, on August 5th, I believe, was the release date. So yeah, it's only been out for a couple of weeks now. It's out from Journal Stone Publishing. It is it's horror, and you know what's funny about it? I never really thought of it as horror when I was writing it. I thought that it was a suspense novel, which it is. I was sort of thinking of it as a psychological thriller, completely ignoring the fact that there is the ghost of a little girl with no face that sort of appears and leads us through the journey of family trauma and family secrets of a woman who was raised in a ridiculously repressive religious cult, found her way out of the religious cult, but now unfortunately has found herself in a position where she has to go home to the ruins of the cult, which fell apart when her father, who founded the cult, passed away. So yeah, all the time I'm writing this, I'm not even really seeing the horror, even as I write the horror, which is there are ghosts here, actual real ghosts here. So yeah, when my agent got a hold of it and said, we're going to send this to horror publishers, I went, oh, okay, that seems like probably a thing that we ought to do. And in fact, it was a horror publisher that picked it up. So sometimes you don't even know what you're writing when you're writing it. And sometimes the things you intend are not what come out.
Yeah, you're so into it that
Yeah.
you can't see from the outside.
Exactly. And sometimes you start something and then it kind of turns into something that isn't even necessarily what you thought you were doing in the first place. But sometimes things turn out better for that. So yeah, Trouble the Water has been
story and the characters can lead you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And leaving yourself a little bit of freedom to do that, even when you have it outlined and planned, which I do. I am definitely an outliner and a planner, but I always leave myself room within the framework that I create for the story to open up on as it goes, and then certainly through rewrites and revisions. And sometimes you learn things that you didn't necessarily know about your character and your story and your ghost.
When you some people dedicate so many hours a day or so many hours a week for writing, because you obviously you have a full-time career. And you have a husband, you have family duties. How are you balancing the writing with your everyday?
So I don't try to fit myself into a you must write every day, because I don't have time to write every single day. I have specific times when I write. My husband, in addition to his day job, is also a chef, and chef obviously is a nighttime thing. He does a lot of teaching, and so on his nights when he's out working at a restaurant or when he is teaching, those are my nights home alone, and that is when I get my writing done. So there are a lot of writers that really thrive under, I have half an hour a day, or I have 45 minutes or an hour a day, and that's when I sit and write. That has never worked for me, because that's just not how my life is. I just don't have time in those sorts of increments. My time is, I have 3 hours now, and then I won't sit down again for, another 4 or 5 days or maybe a week. So that is what works for me out of necessity. I feel like if I tried to do the whole, I'm going to write every day, I feel like I'd spend a lot of time just sitting there staring at the blinking cursor and not doing anything. And the few times that has happened to me, it's so very disheartening that even I think if I had the time to write every day, I don't think I would try to force myself into that mold, which is not the same thing as saying I don't write every day, because of course authors, right? We're always thinking about our books and thinking about our worlds and thinking about what's going to happen next. So even when I'm not sitting at the keyboard, with fingers on keys actually typing words, I still feel like I'm writing. Whenever my mind isn't directly on something else, that is what I'm thinking about.
And that's what my next question was going to be, is like, are you constantly thinking and evolving your story in your mind, or do you like have a dream and wake up and like, I got to jot a note down?
That both of those things are true. Yes. I have had the experience of literally waking up from an actual dream and going, I wonder if that could be something, and writing down. And in those cases, it's usually, just an image, or, a phrase, a sentence, a very, very basic, here's a character that could be interesting, and what could I do with this person? I I think that there are writers who literally dream entire stories. And while I do occasionally dream entire stories, they make no sense and would make horrible books because they're just random garbage. So yes, I've had the experience of, yes, I dreamed, this thing, and how is this gonna work in the world? But it's also just planning and thinking about your book and thinking about, where am I going to go next? Because although, like I said, I generally have a pretty solid framework before I sit down and start making words happen, there's still a lot of room for embellishment and for little side quests during that actual writing time. I leave myself a lot of room for that because for me, that's just what works.
Well, this is what I was going to ask too, is like, like I know the beginning of my story and I know the end of my story, but then sometimes you have these little subplots and, like you said, quests, which was an excellent word.
Yeah, just little side quests that you suddenly, you come upon something and you go, well, I guess we have to go over and see what this is and see where this leads. And sometimes that can lead to some of the most interesting things that you'll find in a finished novel. And I think that inspiration comes from subconscious mind just thinking about it all the time. And so, when you make these plans and you go off on what you think are tangents, they usually eventually turn around and you realize, oh, that's the thing that I needed to make this other thing work later, that I didn't even realize I needed a thing, but I did need a thing. And here's where that thing's going to come from. So
Well, we have
yeah.
what, like 24 levels of subconsciousness. So
Many, so they say. So yeah, you never know where things are percolating back in there, do you?
Somewhere along the lines.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes things are just sort of gently simmering back there and then boil over when they're needed, one hopes. I tend to not do huge rewrites once I have the story in place, unless I find that there are just big glaring plot holes. But I think that that's because I write in a fairly slow and methodical way. I'm not one of those people that can poop out a book every week or every month. I certainly have tremendous admiration for writers who can do that, but I tend to be a little slower. My first drafts take me usually 3 or 4 months to put together. And again, that's a feature of the amount of time I have to actually sit and make words happen on keyboard. But that's also a feature of thinking through things as I go and making sure that as I'm layering things in, they're going to end up making sense when the whole story is done. This does not always work, and sometimes you do have to go back and go, nope, that was garbage. We're going to trash about 20,000 words and rewrite that. But for the most part, it has been what's been working for me.
When you are wrapping up your story, are there times where you're like already knowing that the story's not done yet? I'm going to be doing another book.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The Horizon series is a perfect example of that, and of how things can change when you get other people involved. So the Horizon series, there are 5 books in the series, and this is a middle grade sci-fi series, and it follows the story of 3 spaceships, colony ships, generational ships, leaving doomed Earth looking for a new place for humanity to settle. And so there's the Alpha ship and the Beta ship and the Delta ship. We don't talk about what happened with the Gamma ship. It didn't make it out. So 3 ships heading in 3 different directions, looking for a place for humanity to become born again. And originally, that was what I had planned, was 3 books: Horizon Alpha, Horizon Beta, and Horizon Delta. And when Horizon Alpha was picked up by the publisher, which was Future House Publishing, it'll talk about, where I envision the series going and what do I see happening. And I said, it's going to be 3 books, and there's the Horizon ship, and it's going to end up on a planet of dinosaurs, made up, not Earth dinosaurs, new dinosaurs. And the Horizon Beta ship is going to end up on a planet of giant insects, which are going to enslave humanity. And he said, whoa, hang on. 1 book for the dinosaurs? He said, no, that's not what's going to happen. We're going to have 3 books for the dinosaur world. Go on. And I went, okay, yes, absolutely.
I really like some
dinosaur books. That's what I meant to say. There was never a plan for the 2 other books in the Horizon Alpha part of the series. So books 2 and 3 were not originally part of the plan for that. I thought we'd be done with the first Horizon Alpha book and then move on to the Beta and then the Delta, which brings the worlds of Horizon Alpha and Horizon Beta together. But they said, no, we're going to get them with dinosaurs and we're going to keep them with dinosaurs. So that's what we're going to do. And that is, in fact, what we did. And Horizon Alpha Homecoming actually has turned out to be my favorite in that particular part of the series of those 3 Horizon Alpha books. So yeah, sometimes you do have a plan and you think you have a plan, and then when other people are able to put their 2 cents in, you realize that what they're saying makes a whole lot of sense, and their plan is actually better than yours was. That's part of what I love about traditional publishing is being able to bring people in and get other minds besides my own on the work that I'm creating, because it's fun to do things by yourself and say, this is how I want it to be, and this is all my vision, and this is exactly how it is. But collaboration can also be absolutely huge and take you to places that you never really realized you would be before. So that's a thing I've really enjoyed in some of my collaborations with other authors, other writers, other creators. That's been a lot
Well,
of fun.
several years ago, I think you were coming out with the Horizon Alpha,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a lot going on personally, but you were looking for beta readers, and you also had like your own group
Mm-hmm.
of fellow writers that you were a part of, or I don't know if you made the group.
I did not. So the group is Cincinnati Fiction Writers, and it's a fantastic group. The group's been around for, oh gosh, I've been part of Cincinnati Fiction Writers for 11 or 12 years now, and the group was around long before me, so I'm going to say at least 15, maybe going on 20 years now that the group has been in existence. And it is an in-person critique group, which has switched to a Zoom critique group for fairly obvious reasons. But it's been absolutely fantastic, and I was group leader of that group for quite some time. I have recently given that up to one of our other members who has retired and has a little more time to do the ins and outs of actually running the group. But it's a fantastic thing, and that would be part of my advice to any writers who are out there, in the early stages, is find yourself a live critique group of live people that you can bounce ideas off of and that you can bring chapters to, and that you have a built-in group that's ready when your novel is ready to be beta read, that they're ready and waiting for it, because getting those opinions on your work before you foist it out onto an unsuspecting world is absolutely critical. And what I always say when, if I'm teaching, if I'm lecturing, if I'm presenting about writing, is, when do you want to know that your story has problems? You want to know when you send it out to your beta readers and they come back and go, oh, I really like most of this, but hey, right here you said this and that completely doesn't work because of what you said there. You have to fix that. Or do you want to find these things out if you self-publish it and put it out there to the world and suddenly start getting reviews that go, wow, I really like this person's writing, but this story doesn't make sense, and here's why. Yeah, so you want to know this in the early stages while you still have time to fix it before the general public sees it. So that's where beta readers certainly come in. And even if you're traditional publishing, even if you have an agent, even if you have a publisher and editors who will find those things, you want to give them all your very best work. And your best work comes from writing your work and revising your work on your own to the best of your ability, sending it out to people who can give you fresh eyes and fresh insights on what you have written, and then taking all of those insights back and revising them into the novel that it was meant to be before you give it to the professionals who are working on your behalf or to the general public. And that's always huge.
We have a Facebook user who wrote, great insight. I think she convinced me to go to a publisher rather than self-publishing. Great guest, Heather. And I knew that I wanted you on the show anyway.
Thank you. So, and I will say, I self-publish as well. I have a pen name. I self-publish in a pen name. So I see both sides of that, and there are definitely pros and cons to both worlds. The main pro of self-publishing is that it is so much faster. So Trouble the Water just came out, a couple of weeks ago. The publisher acquired it a year and a half ago. So it's been just sitting doing whatever it is happens. Once edits are through at the publisher for a year and a half. My agent had it for probably a year and a half before that, because that's the speed at which traditional publishing moves. It's incredibly, incredibly slow. So if you have lots of time, traditional publishing is fantastic. But if you're a little more urgently looking to see your work out into the world, traditional publishing might not be for you. And that's, of course, a question that no one can answer but you as you're writing. A lot, too, there has to do with confidence. When I first started, and to a certain extent now, I want a publishing professional to say this work is good enough for we, the publisher, we, me, the agent, or whoever, want my name on it too. And that was very, very important to me starting out, because my thought was, if no agent will pick this up, if no independent publisher will pick this up, if absolutely no publishing professionals out there are willing to say, yes, I want our logo on this book, then maybe I don't want my name on that book either. Maybe it is more flawed than I can see, because of course we can never see the flaws in our own books, right? There are babies, and of course they are beautiful, even if they are flawed.
Well, we get attached to our characters, so
Absolutely, yeah. And we get so drawn into, well, this is the way it happened because this is the way it happened, because we see ourselves as just reporting the story, right? We see ourselves as, we see the stories playing out as a movie in our heads, and this is how it happens. And so I'm basically just a reporter, and I'm filling you in on these are the things that happens in the story, and it is what it is, right? So, of course, this isn't actually true, but that's the way we see it. And so when you realize there are plot holes, or there are things that characters are doing that are really not what the character would do based on how you have drawn them, then these are things that you will probably need to address at some point. And you can't see those. You just can't see those things on your own. I can't. No one can. That's why we have others to help us. And whether that's your beta readers, or whether that's your agent, whether that's your editor, if you do go traditional publishing, these people are absolutely invaluable. And I owe so much to my beta readers, and to Cincinnati fiction writers, and to all the other authors who've given me help and support and advice along the way, because they take you from a writer and turn you into an author. And that's the way it goes. It is a craft to be learned, along with a skill or a talent.
Often too, it's really hard for us to edit our own works because we glaze over the same mistakes,
Absolutely.
or grammar, their sentence structure. We're like, well, that's the way I talk. Did you have your own editor before it went to publishing?
No, I did not. I have an editor for my self-published works under my pen name. I absolutely have a professional editor, and nothing goes out that has not been through my editor for those works. But for my own stuff, I do not. Now, I am pretty darn good at grammar. I don't,
Well, you have a PhD. I mean, you are a highly educated woman.
I am, yes, and that does not at all mean that most veterinarians have no idea what a comma splice is. I have learned what comma splices are. So yeah, no, just being good at one particular field does not necessarily make you qualified to be your own editor. But my mom was an English teacher. We've just been joined. Hi, everybody. This is Stompy. Hello, Stompy. So my mother was an English teacher, and so my writing skill, if you want to call it that, of putting commas in the right place and run-on sentences and that sort of thing, was already pretty high. But you're absolutely right. You can't see your own mistakes. You made them. Of course you can't see them. But it's funny. You can't even see typos in your own work. When I send a work out to an editor, whether it's a traditional publishing editor or whether it's to my own personal editor, they come back and I look at the corrections and I'm like, how did I not see this? Where did this even come from? Who wrote this? Because it's mistakes that I know are mistakes, and I can see that they are mistakes, but I sure didn't see them in the 27 times I read the book before I sent it off to whoever I sent it off to. Did not see them at all. They slide by. One of the tricks that I know for this that I don't always employ is to look at your work on some other format than where you wrote it. So I write in Scrivener. That is a novel writing software. And so my eyes and my brain know how everything looks in Scrivener. They know where, by the time you get to the end of edits, you know where every word is because you've read it 7,000 times. And so the mistakes that have been there all along, you just do not see them, even if they're stupid mistakes, But if you pull it out of whatever writing software you're using and slap it into a different format, somehow your brain goes, oh, here's something new. I should actually look at this. So one of the things that I will occasionally do is take it out of Scrivener and Stompy's tail. Take it out of Scrivener and put it into run it through Calibre and send it over to my Kindle. And then it comes to my Kindle. It looks just like any other Kindle book that you would buy. And you see most of the mistakes.
So you're tricking your brain. Because your brain has
exactly.
already adjusted and gotten used to the original document.
Yeah, yeah.
You
People will
just kind of
say,
see it.
people say that they write in Comic Sans because it's such an unusual font that it just tricks your brain into looking a little more carefully at what you're looking at. So that is not a thing that I do, but I've heard that a lot of writers use that to great effect. Just, changing it into a different crazy font that your brain isn't used to seeing. And so your brain goes, hey, I should probably pay attention to this. It's something different. Weird. Brains are very weird.
I hear they're tasty though.
Yeah, I have heard that as well. I have not partaken, nor do I intend to, because mad cow, mad human, mad, I don't know.
You got to
Not a thing I would find
add
out.
some spices though, some seasoning.
My husband is a chef, so I could ask.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's. Oh, I'm sure you've got like half your pantry full of spices and saffron and
Yeah,
vanilla
absolutely. The whole the
bean.
whole back of the pantry door is alphabetized spices.
Well, I want to ask you about your beta reader group, but we have, someone who was, talking about how you offered some great insight. So I wondered if you could kind of walk us through, you know, an agent or that you have an agent and then because like some people they reach out to publishers themselves and those rejection letters come in and it's really disheartening. Where
Absolutely.
maybe you didn't see all the rejection letters because you went through an agent?
Nah, not true. So every agent works differently, and there are certainly some who probably do protect you from that. Mine did not. Mine, when we when we would get a rejection, she would send it along and say, look at this nice rejection. Look at all the things they really liked, but they don't want it. So on we go. All agents apparently do work in different ways. My current agent is Alice Spielberg, and she is the second agent that I had. I had another agent before her. That was just not the right personality fit, and I think we both kind of felt it. So I was only with her for about a year. Wonderful agent, just not right for me. But with Alice, yeah, she keeps me absolutely on top of everything that's going on. So, when there's interest from a publisher, when there's a rejection from a publisher, I see the list of publishers she's going to send things off to, of editors that she's sending it off to before she sends a work off. And it's absolutely adorable because she always says, how does this look to you? What do you think of these editors? And I go, it looks like a list of names of people because her job is to know those people. I don't know those people. I
Right.
picked
Well,
her
there
as
are
my
people
agent
behind
because
the
I trust her.
scenes people too. How would you know them?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't live in New York and travel in those circles. But yeah, so she always runs the list by me and we go through and, we're going to send to this publisher and that publisher and these are the people. And then, yeah, if we do, when we get rejections on a work, she does definitely send them to me. But in a way, getting them secondhand does hurt less. I remember in the early days when I was in the query trenches trying to find an agent in the first place. Oh, it's just devastating. Absolutely devastating. And you begin to just doubt everything about your writing and why am I doing this? I'm obviously horrible and this is garbage, garbage, garbage. But it only takes one. It only takes one. And it's funny when you look at the numbers on agents, you just have to get lucky. There are so many good works. And I will tell the story of how I ended up with my current agent. I originally met her at a live in-person convention way back in the day before I had my first agent. And I presented to her at a convention. It was one of those, you go and you can sign up for a time and you have, 10 minutes that you can sit and talk one-on-one and present your work to an agent. And if they like it, they'll ask you to send the manuscripts and take a look there. And I met her and talked with her and we really, really hit it off. And I could tell that we really had a connection. And she said, this sounds really interesting. And this was actually for a mystery that remains as unpublished as yet today. But she said, I like the sound of this murder mystery. Send it to me. And so I sent it to her. And she came back within probably a couple of weeks. She was pretty quick. And she said, I really love this. I like everything about this. I think this is sellable. But this is way, way, way too close to something that I just sold, that I wasn't super happy with the deal I got for it. And so I learned a lot from that experience. And although I love this, I don't think that we would get the deal that I necessarily want for this book at this time. So I'm going to pass. So of course I'm, devastated because I really liked her and I really felt like we hit it off. So I said, okay, moved on. Eventually did get who turned out to be my first agent, That book, in fact, First Agent Alice was right. It didn't sell. She was right. It did not sell. And that's when I parted ways with my first agent. During the whole time that first book was on submission, I was, of course, writing another book, because that's what you do. And if anybody out there is in the query trenches right now, whether you're trying to find an agent or a traditional publisher, that is the very best advice I can give you, is while you are querying or while you are submitting to editors and publishers, be writing something else, and don't have it be book 2 of your series, because if book 1 doesn't sell, you are wasting your time. Write something completely different that will keep your spirits up, but it also means that if book 1 does not sell, and that does frequently happen, you've got something else. So this is what I did. And when I parted ways with my first agent, I wrote back to Alice, who I had originally met at the convention. I said, so, remember that book you told me and you really liked it and you said it wouldn't sell? I said, you were right. It didn't sell. I said, but here's my new novel. This is the newest manuscript I've been working on. And, if you're interested, I would love to send it to you. And she wrote back and said, absolutely, send it my way. And she has been my agent ever since. So that's kind of the roundabout way that I came into finding my agent. And, since then we've been having pretty good success, I would definitely say. And she's been wonderful to work with. So even though there was certainly heartbreak and disappointment in both of those initial interactions, it came around and has turned out to be the right thing. So there are still rejections, because there are always publishers that are not looking for what you're selling. But I tell that story to illustrate it can be a good manuscript. 2 agents agreed that it was a good manuscript. All the publishers we sent it to said it was a good manuscript. But for whatever reason, it wasn't right for them at that time, just like it wasn't right for Alice at the time that I sent it to her. So sometimes it's not that your book is garbage. Sometimes it's not that your writing is garbage. It's just not the right time for that book, for reasons that can be completely out of your control. And so that's why you sit down, you write something new, and you keep pushing forward.
And are there trends in the writing world or in the publishing world? No, we're looking for this kind of work right now. Or,
Absolutely.
Dinosaurs are in, and then zombies
Mhm.
are in, and then,
Yep.
so there's a trend in the market.
There are absolutely 100% trends in the market. And the problem is that by the time you find out about them, it is already too late. So everybody, back in the days, Twilight comes out and everybody goes, oh my gosh, paranormal romance. This is the best thing ever. I'm going to sit down and I am going to write a paranormal romance because this is super, super hot. And you write it. And by the time you have written the manuscript and you get it out to agents, they, of course, know the timeline, right? They know that it's going to take up to a year to submit and find an editor for it. From there, it's going to be a year or 2 before it's published. It's already done. You've already missed the trend. So unfortunately, chasing trends doesn't usually work out.
That doesn't
If you are self-publishing,
the
the timeline is just so slow. Now, if you're self-publishing and you're writing in a really hot genre and you can turn out work pretty quickly, for example, right now the trend in romance is something called reverse harem, which is one female love interest and multiple male love interests. That's what's super hot in the contemporary and fantasy romance world right now. So if you can have one of those out in a month or 2, then you can jump on that bandwagon. But if you're not quick, if you're not going to have one of those out till Christmas, it's going to be something else out by Christmas time. I don't know what it's going to be. I wish I did. I would write to that and have a great big hit in the romance world, but I don't know. So yeah, unfortunately, there are absolutely trends, and you don't know what they are until they're too late. Agents try to guess, publishers, editors try to guess. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Sometimes they make the trend with something that just becomes a crazy breakout hit like Twilight did. But you just never know. It's all. I call it a secret rules game. It's a game where you have to follow the rules, but you don't get to know what the rules are. So you try your best.
Well, we've had a couple of 3 or 4 people, tuning in today. So I just want to say hello. Unfortunately, the screen that I have, it just says Facebook user. So I apologize. I'm not sure who's tuning in, but thank you. We appreciate it.
Glad to have you along, whoever you are.
And so I'm going to go back now to the beta reader group. How did you first get involved in that?
So I found Cincinnati fiction writers on meetup.com. And I would certainly recommend anybody, anywhere in the country, to check out your local meetup group. So it's meetup.com is a free website. You just join. And they have what they call meetups for anything you do. If you're looking for a D&D group, or if you're looking for a group that wants to hike in a specific park, or if you're looking for a group to play Pokemon Go, or almost anything, you know, I'm looking for a chess club. Whatever interests you have, there is a meetup group for you. So I literally went on to Meetup and I went, I want to find a writing group because I feel like I need an in-person group of people that I can start to develop earlier. And this was, you know, as I said, probably 11 or 12 years ago when I first started writing. And that's how I found them. And it was an in-person group, of course, at the time. And I literally just showed up at the coffee shop and I took a little printout copy of a short story that I had just written with me. And they actually had room for a presenter that night, which is rare. Now we always schedule in advance, but back in the day, they said, sure, let's read your story. And we read my story and I got some critique on it. And I said, yep, this is how this is going to go. This is the group that I need. And have been with them ever since. So yeah, there's just no substitute for that. And to have, because they're not only, they're critique partners, certainly, but they're also cheerleaders. And everybody needs cheerleaders. You need people to keep your spirits up and to, you know,
not just in writing, just in, you know, whatever kind of goal you're trying to reach or daily life, because, you know, I mean, like working in healthcare, it can get down and devastating when you lose someone.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, totally. So hi to Jeffrey. Jeffrey is my friend out in California. He's been working on a 3-book series. So hopefully some of your experience and what you've gone through can be beneficial. I know that he also has an artist in mind for his cover already. And so I'm Facebook friends with Marissa. I think Marissa Pope is who he had in mind. And I've been biting my tongue. I've been trying not to talk to the cat that I see there in the corner from time to time.
Yep, that's my Stompy cat. He is 14 years old. He has 4 legs and 3 feet. One of them is not there, but I have had him since he was a little kitten, and he is one of my special needs kitties. I have a house full of them. I expected more of them to actually make appearances. They usually do when I'm doing any kind of home interview. Usually there's, you know, sort of cat poking up and then wandering off. But there's one on the floor over there. I can see the senator is laying down over there, and Janet's around here somewhere. I don't know where Janet is right now. She's usually my lap buddy.
I see posts about Janet often.
Janet is magnificent. Dumb as a bag of hair. Absolutely just dumb as a bag of hair, but oh, she's beautiful and hilarious. She's just one of those funny cats.
Do you have any dogs?
I do not currently have any dogs. We lost our most recent dog. Dolly was our oldest dog. She lived to be 17. Ooh, 17 is not pretty on a little Jack Russell Terrier, but she lived to be 17, and we lost her a couple of years ago, and there have been some health issues in the family. And it has not been the right time to bring a dog home since then, but it will be again. It'll be dog time.
My daughter wants a cat. She says, Mom, they're like little assholes like me.
Absolutely. I don't know if she's truly a little asshole, but yes, cats are. But they're also just sweet and loving, and yeah, cats are fantastic. There's 4 of them around here somewhere. Don't tell my HOA. HOA, if you're watching, there's 2. I have 2 cats.
It just seems like 4.
Yes, exactly. Well, 2 of them are almost identical, so that doesn't count, right? If they look alike, they're basically just 1 cat.
Yeah. They're Siamese twins.
Yeah, they are, in fact, Siamese, yes.
So you were really, so when you went to the meetup, you were ready. You were like gung-ho.
I was naive and had no idea what in the heck I was doing. But yes, I walked in with my little story in hand. And the funny / stupid thing is I had already completed writing my first novel at that point. I had written the first draft of Flamewalker because I really thought that to join a writer's group, you had to have written a book already. It didn't even occur to me to join a writing group while I was actually writing the book, which is when you should be joining the writing group, by the way, for everybody out there. Join the writing group. You don't have to wait until you've already written the book
to join the group.
Yes, when you're even just starting to think about it, join the group because you'll save yourself a lot of heartache. because you will learn writing craft. You will learn from people who have been doing it longer than you have, which is presumably not very long, and you'll be able to incorporate those learnings, those things that you're learning in your writing group into your writing as you're writing, and not later on and go, wow, look at these 9,700 things I have to fix because I didn't know any of those things when I just sat down and when I think I'm going to write a book, which is of course what we do. And so save yourself some headache and start learning the craft in any way you possibly can before you actually start writing, because you'll save yourself time in the long run. Which is not to say that you should be necessarily editing as you write. I know a lot of people that do that will write a chapter and then go back and tinker with the chapter and then go write another chapter and then go tinker with the chapter. And they're still not done with the novel that they started 6 or 8 years ago. Yeah. So just write it, get the words out, and then pretty it up. The more you can learn along the way, the more headache you can save yourself by simply not writing in the mistakes in the first place.
Well, I mean, that I've admired you for years, and I think that you're a very brave person. The idea of somebody taking a red pen. Oh, my friend Jeffrey wants to know if you'll adopt him.
Is he a cat who's missing a foot? If so, absolutely. Come on over. That's what I do.
Actually just adopted 2 kittens a couple of months ago. They're both tortoise-haired. They're beautiful.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be little assholes. Torties are always very opinionated. I bet they're cute as heck. Yeah, those will be fun little cats.
Well, knowing Jeffrey, I'm sure that he allows them to rule the roost.
Yes, exactly. And it doesn't matter. Torties are going to rule the roost. That is what they do. They walk in, and 6-week-old, they say, look around and say, yep, this will do. This is mine now. And that's the way it's going to be. So the sooner you decide that is in fact how it's going to be, the happier you're going to be. It's not your house anymore. You have torties.
So like the whole idea of somebody taking a red pen to my work is kind of like fearful, but I know that it has to get done. And so I did approach a woman that I know that's an editor, because not that I think that she will be kind to me, but I think that taking the criticism from her would work better for me than somebody else, because, I might say, hey, fuck you. You don't know me. You don't know what you're talking about.
Right. So. Yeah. And I think what's the most important thing with an editor is that you have respect for the editor, because they are going to come back and ask you to change things. And
I do already have respect for her as a person. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Jeffrey says that his cats are cute, but definitely assholes.
Yep, absolutely. Best kind. Best kind. So yeah, that's
personality. I think keeps you entertained with your pets.
Bet it does. You bet it does. So, but yeah, talking about being edited. Being edited is very, very hard the first time, and also the second time, and the third, and the fifth, and the 20th time, because your natural inclination is to go, well, no, it's like this because I wrote it like this, because this is how it's going to be, and giving yourself permission to step back and forcing yourself to try to be as objective as you can about your own work, and really think about, well, this is what they think. Maybe I really ought to think about this. Maybe this is a thing that I should consider. It's really, really hard. So, if it's just a question of, you should have a comma here instead of here. Yeah. Okay, cool. Fix the commas. That's great. But when they're talking about developmental edits, which is, we need to flesh out this character more, or this is not a thing this character would say, or, hey, look, you left out a whole scene here. We need to see what happened in between this thing and this thing. That can be sometimes hard to take and hard to swallow. So,
well, yeah, because you're writing a character, that's your baby, and someone to say that, you're like, how do you know this? You don't know this person. You don't know what they do. This is my character. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But most of the time when you sit back and you really look at it, you go, you're right. You're right. But that's also why having multiple beta readers before you send it to an editor is a really, really good idea. And sometimes, and I say multiple because sometimes you need a tiebreaker, right? If you send it out to 2 people, you are going to get 2 different opinions on things that are working and things that are not working, because everybody likes what they like, right? We all walk in with our own sort of implicit biases. So
yes. And
you send it to me and I go, I love this character. This is my favorite character in the whole thing. And you send it to somebody else and they go, character didn't work for me. It just didn't resonate. And now you go, well, what the heck do I do? because this person loved it and this person hated it. And so now I don't know. So multiple beta readers so you can get some tiebreakers there. And what we always say in group is, if you send something out to five beta readers and only one of them says that a thing is a problem, very likely it's probably their problem and probably not your problem or your manuscript's problem. But if 4 out of the 5 come back and say, yep, got to rethink this here, then you really, really should think about if it really is an issue in your manuscript. So having multiple.
Does that happen often where like more than one person says the same thing and then you're like, oh shit?
Yeah, it does. It does, absolutely. And getting yourself a little distance from a manuscript, I think, is really important too, because what we all want to do is type the end and then email send and just instantly send it off, right? Because we want that feedback. We want it now. I wrote this thing. I did this thing. Is it good? I don't know. I want to hear, like, does somebody like this? Did I just waste 3 months of my life? But giving yourself a little bit of time to step back and become a tiny bit more objective makes things a whole lot easier to take. And when you go back and look at it later with slightly fresher eyes, you can go, yeah, I thought that was a great idea. That's not, in fact, a great idea at all. So it just gives you a little tiny bit more objectivity. Sometimes if you wait long enough, you can read it back and it doesn't feel like your own words anymore. It doesn't feel like your own work. And then you can sort of approach it as much as a stranger. Also important when you're sending things out to beta readers to hold some in reserve. So if you have, if you're lucky enough to have, 10 people that are willing to beta read for you, send it out to 5 of them first, not to all 10, because you can only read it for the first time once. So if you do make large changes, especially when we're talking, mysteries and thrillers, or, sci-fi that has a twist, or, any kind of a surprise ending, or, anything like that, they can only read it for the first time once. So if you're going to be making changes in those things, you can send it back to those same beta readers, but they're now going to read it already knowing who the murderer is, or already knowing, what your big surprise twist at the end. They know it going through the whole time. And so you're going to get very different opinions than if you've kept some virgins held, and now you can send it out to people who've never read it before and get an idea of, hey, I changed the twist around at the end. Is this working? As opposed to people who already think they know what's going on.
So a fresh eyes, fresh perspective.
Absolutely.
After the proofing and stuff. Initial.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's huge to have that. At least I have certainly found it to be.
So I remember years ago when I first interviewed you talking about Firewalker. I'm sorry.
Flamewalker, but yes.
Man,
I know it's hard to get it off the tongue.
Striking out, but I remember there was a young woman on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of like a double-edged sword, and I want to ask you so that other people know, what took you into writing, what took you down that road. But I want to be sensitive to what's going on.
Not at all. Not at all. No, absolutely. Flamewalker was my first manuscript, and the way that Flamewalker came to be is 11 years ago. How old am I? Yeah, 11 years ago. This was at a time when my husband was working a lot in kitchens. He was gone a lot of nights, and I was playing through, I'm going to say Diablo 2 at the time. It might have been Diablo 3, playing on my PC, playing computer games, killing skeleton after skeleton, and racking up loot after loot after loot after loot. And I had just been diagnosed with cancer. And I sat there one night and literally was hacking and slashing my way through skeletons and breaking urns and finding treasure, going, what in the hell are you doing? You're sitting here playing a computer game night after night after night. They just told you you have cancer. How long do you think you got here? And I'd always said I wanted to write a book, which, don't all avid readers say that they always want to write a book. We've all got a book in us. Some of us have more than one, but we all say that. Anybody that reads a lot, we know we can write a book, and we can. You can.
We all have one story in us.
Yeah. And I sat there hacking and slashing, going, what in the hell are you doing? What are you doing? You're going to chemo tomorrow. Sit down and write your damn book. So that is what I did. I sat down and wrote my damn book, and that first one took me Gosh, probably 10 months to write. The longest any manuscript has taken since, because I've learned, how to do it more efficiently since then. But I sat down and I wrote my damn book, and that is the book that became Flamewalker, and was originally published through Word Branch Publishing. They are no longer in business, but I still have. I got the rights back to that and self-published it just because I wanted to keep that story out there in the world. It's still a story that I'm very proud of, and it was my first manuscript. So yeah, that was 11, almost 12 years ago now, and that's still what I say, right? When I sit down at the computer, I sit down and I say, how much time you think you got? Sit down, write your book, do it. There is an urgency to having been told you have cancer that I hope none of you who are listening and watching this right now have to know. But it certainly lit a fire under my butt to get me going and getting me doing the things that you always say, yeah, I'm going to do that someday. Suddenly, when you see you might not have the some days that you thought you had, you sit down, you write your book, or whatever it is you want to do. You want to travel, you want to, you want to learn to paint, you want to learn to do pottery, you want to, rekindle old friendships, you want to make up with your family, whatever it is that you want to do. Don't wait until they tell you that you have cancer to do those things. Go ahead and just do them now. You will be happier in the long run with your life if you do. So, yeah.
One of our viewers says, when you have so much to say, the pages flow without you even knowing it.
Absolutely. That's getting into the zone. That's, athletes find that anybody that does a thing that can consume your mind and your attention and your focus like that, you get into that zone, and suddenly you look up and 3 hours have passed and you've written 3,000 words, and yeah, you're just there, and it takes your mind off the other things that are happening in your life, and that can be a very good thing, especially when you're going through some stuff. So yeah, giving yourself that freedom to create, even when it seems like an odd time to be creating. It's a great outlet, and it's a great way to give yourself another thing to think about, and another thing to live for, just another thing to put in your arsenal of, this is why I'm going to chemo. This is why I'm fighting this fight. This is why I'm doing all these things, because there are, among many other wonderful things in my life, there are stories I still want to tell. So I'm still here. I'm still going to chemo. I'm still doing all of the things that I do. And yeah, knock on wood, so far so good, because here I still am.
Well, you look great to me. Another Facebook user says, it's a lesson to do what you love, capital letters. Time doesn't wait for you. Yes. Someone else says, I call it unconscious writing. It's a place in your head where time stops, but your fingers don't.
Yes.
So back then you got a unicorn tattoo?
Yes. So not a unicorn, a horse. Here we go.
Like horse, unicorn.
Here we go. So let me get this in camera as best I can.
Still beautiful.
So yep, still beautiful. So this mandala represents life and death, and so it represents decay and destruction and new life. The horse is actually the symbol for victory, and pink, of course, is the color of breast cancer. So this literally means victory over breast cancer, and so far so good. So yeah, today.
You had some other goals that you trained for and worked hard for.
That I still do. Yeah, I'm a veterinarian. I still work full time. Still out there doing what I do, and certainly wouldn't give that up for the world. And that's been wonderful. I'm also in this past couple of years now I'm a board game designer. So yeah, who knew where that even came from? We got very into board games maybe 4 or 5 years ago or so, and have hooked up with a publisher there. And I'll
you've been holding out for me. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was lead writer on a game that kickstarted 6 months or a year ago or so, called Quest Heroes of Sorcato. We had a successful Kickstarter for that, and that is expected to ship. We were hoping that it would be out in time for Christmas this year, but with the way things are going with shipping and manufacturing and all the difficulties there, I'm not sure if we're going to make that particular deadline. But Quest will be out soon, and then with another publisher, Outland Entertainment, who is actually the publisher of The Risen, back there on the shelf behind me, right there.
I see you.
Backwards. Outland Entertainment then commissioned my husband and I to write some other board games. And so we will be coming out with Cupcake Dragon, which is an Uno level kids card game, and that is expected to kickstart in the fall. And then another card game based on the world of Nightfell, which is where The Risen is set. That's an IP novel set in the world of the Nightfell comic. That is expected to probably kickstart in the beginning, probably first quarter of next year. So
We'd love to come back on and talk more about the Kickstarter then.
Absolutely, I would love to. Yeah, we can have board game day, and instead of novel day next time, we'll have at least prototypes, if nothing else. So yeah, absolutely. There's always something going on.
Let me read a couple of more comments. Do it all. Who in big capital letters says you can't do everything? Congrats. And then she is definitely an amazing person and a true inspiration to me. Oh, it's still Jeffrey, by the way. Definitely going to start binge reading her stuff.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jeffrey. Happy to hear that, and excited for you and your writing journey. And I hope I hope it's successful, and I hope that is fulfilling for you, and can't wait to see the covers that you come up with for that too. So Heather will be our go-between there, and maybe put us in touch. So congratulations.
Have you done any marathons lately?
I have not. I've done a couple of halves. I did. So our local marathon and half marathon is the Flying Pig, because I'm in Cincinnati and everything is Flying Pigs in Cincinnati. So I usually do at least the half every year. And so yeah, I don't run anywhere near like I used to run, but I still get out there and I'm slower than I was before. I got a new hip now that I'm not supposed to run on, but I'm allowed to walk as fast as I can. So that is what I do. And
but you're still getting out there. You're still shaking your tail feathers.
Yep, exactly. I'm still doing absolutely everything I can that is as much as a part of my normal life as I possibly can do. So yeah, it's not 26 miles anymore. It's 13 miles now, but that's plenty. That's plenty. I'm getting older.
I'm good, Wendy.
Yeah, I don't need to kill myself for full marathons anymore. I did 4 or 5 of those back in my day, and that was good. Got the medals, got the t-shirts.
Well, I normally do towards the end of the show, I do a mail call, and I've been getting into these comic book auctions. And you probably know what it feels like to win.
Absolutely.
So I like winning these auctions.
Yeah. What'd you get?
Oh my gosh. So much. So I'll just pull some of these out. Oh, I got this one today. And this gentleman with his painter's tape, he had them marked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like how to open it. He had some stickers. So because She-Hulk is coming out today, I put the Smash sticker out on my shirt.
Excellent.
And I'm wrestling with the tape again. So yeah, I've been working on my Vampirella and my Zombie Tramp collection.
Oh, nice.
They're okay?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. You won that in the auction?
I did.
Oh, fantastic.
And I'm really loving some of these Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy covers. This one, it looks like Harley, but you can kind of see part of Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
When you look at the back.
Poison Ivy with a little bit of Harley Quinn.
Actually, it's 2 books.
Nice. Ooh, that's gorgeous.
And Catwoman. And here's another cover.
I love alternate covers. That is such a fun trend.
This one is the Batman Who Laughs, Year of the Villain. I'm gonna go this way.
Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, that's
badass. So I know I posted the pictures of all of the Zombie Tramp covers. And I had recently done a Kickstarter with Dan Mendoza for his Zombie Tramp. So it really was like a big boost in the collection. This one is a signed Scotty Young.
Nice.
And that came with a poster in the back. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to undo it all.
Yeah, hard to see.
Oh, and he sent me a freebie. He sent me Punisher number 63.
Fantastic.
So that was really nice.
That's a good mail haul. That's a great haul.
I have a bag underneath this desk that's just totally full.
Fantastic.
And some of these guys, I have to tell you, the way they package things, they're like Christmas elves.
Like
not everybody uses the painter's tape. They use that packing tape.
Yeah, no, it's like you're never going to get in.
Wendy, I think you're going to love this cover.
Oh, that's awesome. Who did that? That's gorgeous.
That is a Kirkham cover. Tyler Kirkham.
Beautiful. Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at the movement in that. That's awesome.
Oh, somebody's going Scotty on our comments here. So every time I get a dinosaur meme that comes my way, I always repost and tag Wendy.
Absolutely.
And I think this last time I said, Wendy is the type of person that would actually ask you what your favorite dinosaur is.
Absolutely. I use that all the time because people have an answer to that question. Almost everybody has an answer to that question.
Yeah, but it's not something that, adults talk about.
Yeah, nobody ever asks anymore.
This is a Lucio Perillo Black Cat cover.
Nice.
And I'm really enjoying a lot of his work. He just recently married a French artist named Carla Cohen. And they just have done some really gorgeous covers, especially with Vampirella.
Yeah. I like the moodiness of that last one, the Black Cat.
And here's Swamp Thing. This is a Crane cover, Spider-Man Velocity. Oops, wrong way. Oops, glare.
Yep, a little glare there. All right. Ooh, wow.
I know another local artist, and everybody says that his style is very much like a Crane style. And when I saw that cover, it definitely did remind me of his works as well.
You got the best stuff. This is a great haul.
You know what? It's so funny because yesterday I didn't get any mail, and I'm like, what the heck? Because like every day last week I was getting mail. This is a Carla Cohen cover and Harley Quinn.
Nice.
I'm fighting with the lights.
Yeah, you get a little glare there, but man, that's gorgeous.
There we go. Yeah, she's just phenomenal, and so is her husband. They're just great artists. Stacking the boxes over here on the other side of the desk. Oh, okay. So my friend Scott Davis, I told him he could actually be family the way he looks. He looks like a lot of my cousins. And I have some cousins with the last name of Davis. So I was a little confused at first when we became Facebook friends. Like, are you a cousin? Are you related?
Are you related?
No relationship. I'm like, well, you could pass. We have a huge family reunion. So Scott has done 2 Kickstarters, and he's working on his 3rd book. Later on today, I will reveal a picture he drew of me.
Nice.
Apparently, I'm in the comic book. I didn't even know.
Oh, that's excellent.
So this is This is book 1.
Nice.
Valiant. There we go without the glare.
Yep.
Scott is the creator and the artist on this.
Excellent.
And so
exciting.
I really, I've been in a couple of comic books, some indie creators. I always like to support indie creators.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
somebody decides to put you in their book, it's very flattering.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's really no higher honor they can give.
Well, I do hear that if a horror writer puts you in their book, that killing you is an honor. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
no, I want to stay alive.
Yeah. No. If you end up in horror, you're probably gonna die. That's just a given. But yeah, it's certainly the best we can do is give you an exciting death.
Oh, okay. One more. And there's a lot of books here. Let me just peel off this painter's tape. Punisher. Oop, there we go. Oop, glare. There we go.
Yeah, that's good.
Ghost Spider.
Beautiful.
Another Vampirella.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of a Rags Morales print I have. He did Vampirella and he did the bats. And he had the cutest little faces on the bats.
They have little puppy faces, don't they? They're
Yeah.
so cute up close. Most of them, the hog-nosed bats with the little push-in faces, they're not super cute. But yeah, the fruit bats are absolutely adorable.
I don't want them in my hair.
But they got the little ears that are always, listening for sounds, because of course that's what bats do.
Flying mini bat or foxes.
Yeah, exactly. They've got those little soft faces. So cute.
Here's another Vampirella.
Nice.
Lots of red. And then this Zombie Tramp is a special issue. C. Turner did the cover. Dan did not do this cover for his book.
Awesome.
So luckily we're not going to get in trouble for showing boobies.
Boobies. Zombie boobies. That's got to be different, right? I'm sure
zombie
that's different.
boobies.
Zombie boobies are different, eh?
I saw some ghost boobies recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for real or like drawn?
Drawn.
Or is that where we're going with this?
Drawn boobies. Yeah. It's funny to me how like the guys go crazy over the drawn images.
Absolutely. Well, let's be honest. Always better than the real thing.
Sweet Paprika.
Oh, wow.
More boobies.
More boobies.
So
That's
this is
style, though.
I'm not familiar with this comic book at all.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one, but the style is really compelling.
She's I like her. So there's another seller who bought like a ton of them, and he didn't even know what the worth was. So he's checking that out, and then I'm going to approach him about more of those so that I can fill in the story.
Excellent.
And a classic, my all-time favorite.
Oh, of course. There she is. Yeah, nice.
Everyone tells me I should cosplay as Wonder Woman.
You should.
I can't find a corset to fit in the Wonder Woman pattern. I would have to have. I talked to somebody with the League of Enchantment. Beautiful, beautiful woman. Very. She's got 2 daughters, and just a very giving spirit. And so I talked with her and her husband, and hers was made out of foam. So they did a mold, and then they did the foam, and then they cut at it, and then used the duct tape. And she's gorgeous, and she's taller than me. And that I normally don't come across people like women who are taller than me, so it's a little intimidating. Plus, so I think she was think she's 6 foot, plus she had the boots on with a heel.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, she must have looked fantastic.
She was gorgeous. I do have a picture with her, and her boots are blue, not the traditional red, and just a gorgeous woman. She dresses up. She goes to the hospital. They're constantly, fundraising and donating for children with cancer, and so maybe if I get brave enough, I'll do that.
You absolutely should. You absolutely should. Unveil at a Comic-Con, because anything goes at the Comic-Con, and what I love about any kind of Comic-Con is that it's just so judgment free. There are people there that are wearing all kinds of things, and that perhaps don't have the body style that you would traditionally associate with a particular character, and yet they make it work. It's just content.
Doing what they love as well. I saw a slave,
and that just shines through.
Yeah, I saw Slave Leah, very beautiful, and he had a beard.
Good for him.
But he was gorgeous. He was gorgeous, and
there were a couple of Slave Leias, I don't know, years ago at a Comic-Con that I saw, and they were probably in their 50s. And both of them had, been to the buffet a couple of times, not what you traditionally associate with, Carrie Fisher, but they were gorgeous. And you could tell that they felt absolutely gorgeous. They looked fantastic. So, and the confidence that it takes to pull that off, I was absolutely just in awe of them, just totally in awe. So, yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. I starting to get a little more brave in my older age. Lola from the Indie Volt Studio is going to be taking some pictures for me for my 50th birthday.
Awesome.
So I still have to order my crown and my dress.
Excellent. Yeah, it is somewhat liberating when you hit 50. You just stop kind of giving a shit what other people think about you and what you're doing. It's kind of nice in a weird, I'm getting old kind of way. But yeah, absolutely.
I got one of my tattoos is birds. I'm a bird.
Nice.
So kind of, you get to a certain point, you kind of develop that attitude.
Yep, exactly. And you should develop it earlier. It shouldn't take 50 years to suddenly say, you know what? I only care what I think. Because that's the only thing that really, truly, at the end of the day, matters. I'm going to do what I think. I'm going to do what I love. I'm going to have confidence doing it, and that's beautiful.
Jeffrey says, "Hey, it's Jeffrey again. I could pull off a bearded Slave Leah." And you know what? Jeffrey does have. I don't know if he's trimmed it up. His beard's pretty long.
Yeah, he should do it. Absolutely. If not at Comic-Con, then when?
Yeah. He's got some more free time now, so he can do
put
more of what
the costume together, and yeah,
and they had to put their dog down, and then he got the kittens. So kittens are a little bit more independent, that you can go away and not have to worry about letting them out.
Absolutely. Yep, much more easy care.
So if people want to find the books or follow you, everybody's Googling and following everybody around nowadays.
You bet. So probably the best place to find my work is Wendy Vogel Books, WendyVogel, just like on the screen, wendyvogelbooks.com. And let's see, I'm on Facebook as DW Vogel, which is the pen name for the Horizon Alpha group. So that's where you can find me on Facebook. On Twitter, what am I on Twitter? Dr. Wendy V, I think. I think I'm on Twitter at drwendyv.
Oh, no, I gotta go look for you. I didn't know you're on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've been on Twitter for years. Twitter tends to be more politics than books, but there's certainly plenty of book stuff thrown in there as well. So yeah, I'm on Twitter. Been there for years. And then I'm also on TikTok as my pen name, which is Allison Rook, Rook. So if you're into TikTok, if you're into fantasy romance, that's what we write under the pen name. So Allison Rook author is the TikTok pen name.
What do you do on TikTok?
Book things. So I don't like, dance around and sing and stuff like that. But TikTok is all about books. It's pretty heavily curated because, of course, you read how do I get in the TikTok algorithms and how do I make this work for me. So keeping it pretty closely aligned with basically just book talk stuff. So I it's stuff about my books, it's stuff about other books, it's stuff about stuff that I've seen and people that I've met at cons. But it's very author focused and mostly focused on the fantasy genre, fantasy sci-fi, mostly fantasy romance. So yeah, TikTok's fun.
Are you going and making videos and talking about that, or are you like doing like a commercial type video for your book?
So I would say they're more commercial. I'm not a huge fan of. So it's funny, whenever I do the camera and I do the little reverse thing, I always look and I go, yeah, no, not today. We're not going to be doing a live TikTok video today. We'll just turn this around and we'll look at book covers. So generally, what I'm doing is putting together things with book covers, and of course the trend is you do the page flip thing. You show the pages flipping so that I guess it's a book. I'm not sure why we do that. It's what we do. It's what's hot on TikTok right now.
I wrote a lot of pages in this one.
Yeah, exactly. Look at all these words. Oh my gosh. And then, you put your favorite quotes and whatever to just try to draw people into the book. So, TikTok is a totally different world. Absolutely a totally different world. But it's amazing how quickly you can gain followers on TikTok now. How many of those are real people and not Russian bots?
I have followers on TikTok, and I've not made anything on TikTok. And my daughter's going to be 16. She's like, Mom, don't go on TikTok. I'm on TikTok.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's her world. So, but yeah, apparently that's where authors are.
For Discord, and she's like, "Oh no, that's my thing, Mom."
There you go. Yeah, no, you gotta know your place there. But yeah, no, TikTok has been a whole new learning curve, a whole new world. It's but and anyone who says they know the secrets of how to make it work is lying, because no one knows the actual secrets of how to make it work. But we all keep trying. So it's been fun. It's been different, and it's a place. It feels like TikTok is a place where nothing matters. It doesn't matter if you do stupid stuff or you say stupid stuff or you look stupid. The stupider the better, I think, on TikTok. So yeah, it's kind of the reverse of everything else in life. TikTok is it's just kind of its own thing.
Take your hair out and just be yourself, huh?
And just be yourself. Yeah, exactly. And no, and TikToks seems like they go by so quickly. After 2 days, no one is looking at your old TikTok post anymore. So anything you had on there, they just sort of fade into the background, and they're not gone, but nobody's going to see them. So it feels transient, which makes it feel like a safe place to just go on there and be silly, and that's what TikTok is about.
I mean, I'm finally brave enough to do YouTube here.
Right, exactly. Yeah, YouTube as opposed to just audio podcasts. It's a whole another level of. I guess I should probably put on makeup, which is crazy because anymore when I put on makeup, I'm putting on makeup from here, right? Because I wear a mask when I go out. So really, I was actually like, oh, I guess I have to. Yeah, I guess I got to do the powder all over, or maybe I don't know. Our whole hospital just went completely feral during the whole curbside thing. We were curbside for veterinary care for I'm certainly the better part of a year, and yeah, we all went feral during that time, and it's been hard to come back to actually having humans back in the practice again. And different.
Yeah, I didn't really bother with makeup for a long time, but I always found myself in the parking lot at Meijer's putting my lipstick on and then putting my mask on.
Right, exactly. You're like, why did I just? Oh, look, there's my lipstick. Hey, it's on the inside of my mask now.
Or the one time I could only find these fleece masks over at Target. I take my mask off. I'm like, what is on my lips? I got these black marks on my lips.
Oh, all stuck to you. Yeah. So I get that at work all the time. I'm forever like, hang on, I have to fish in here because I've got dog hair in my mask. I've got cat hair, and it just always like stuck and sticking in your mouth and sticking up your nose, and oh my gosh.
All sterile, right?
Yep, exactly. But do what we have to do, don't we?
Yeah, I've started to so when I'm at the studio, I'm starting to wear makeup, and I'm like blush woman over here, and because there's all the lights in the studio.
Sure.
They get pretty warm, but I didn't want to look completely like a cracker.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But boy, you forget and you go like, I've completely lost this skill. Where do I put this? What do I even do? I I feel like I don't dress up anymore. I feel like I don't do makeup anymore, and hair is completely a lost cause because I don't even know what to do with what I have here now. So yeah,
Yes,
it's
mine's been
crazy.
so frizzy lately. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but I've
Oh
never
yeah.
been good
Yeah.
with the girly skills like the nails and the hair.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't do polished nails. I haven't done since vet school because you scrub into
Yeah.
surgery and nail polish is a no-no. So although I hear that that's changing, they actually did a recent study that has said that nail polish is actually probably okay for sterile field now because of course you have gloves on over it. So yeah, maybe it's weird to feel like I might finally be allowed to wear nail polish now after I haven't for 25 years in private practice. Very
Well,
strange.
in healthcare, I would always keep my nails short, and I took a leave of absence because I have Hashimoto's disease now. So this is my fourth autoimmune disease,
Oh my
and
gosh.
so my nails started to grow and everything, and I'm taking all of these vitamins, trying to boost up my immunity system, and my nails are growing like crazy. And a friend of mine's opening up a nail salon, so I'm like was debating, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna hold out, when she opens up, to get my nails done. They started breaking.
Oh, of course. As
I
soon
can't
as,
win
soon
for
as you
losing.
as soon as you make a plan, as soon as you make the plan, yeah, down they go. Oh well, how lucky are we? If that is the biggest problem that we have, that our nails are not beautiful, I think we're probably still winning for the day.
Well, I just, yeah, sometimes you're sensitive about your, ugly man hands because they look just like your dad's, or,
Right? Absolutely.
but whatever, they work. I should be glad.
Exactly. Gotta think about what they can do and not how they look. That's that's how I try to look at it.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Is
Oh,
there
thanks for
anything
having me.
else you want to, express or let our viewers know?
Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here. So nice to talk with you. So nice to catch up. And yeah, no, I certainly would invite anybody who's watching to check out Trouble the Water. Brand new on the market. It's religious cult horror. Or if you are a sci-fi fantasy, check out The Risen, which is under the D.W. Vogel name. And that is undead heroes in a world where the dead rise for 10 years out of every 100 to protect the living from the monsters that come when the suns go out. So yeah, those are my two newest releases, and I would certainly invite all of your viewers to check them out. That sounds like the sort of thing that they'd be into. So
You hear that, Jeffrey? I'm going to pick up a copy too.
excellent. Delighted to share it. Those are the two most recent, and certainly the two that I'm most proud of right now. So excellent. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. This has just been a ball. What a joy to catch up.
Oh, it's been wonderful for me. I don't know if you noticed, I got teary eyed a little bit earlier, but yeah, I'm good. I'm just glad to
We're
see
hanging.
you.
We're good. We're hanging in there. Everything's good right now, and tomorrow isn't promised to anybody, and so we're going to enjoy today. That's what we're doing.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. Take care.